Good morning, my dear students. Students, in the previous class, we have done till factors affecting absorption of gases on solid. That is, nature of gas, nature of adsorbent, surface area, temperature, and pressure. Here, we can also represent this adsorption theory graphically at constant temperature and pressure. So, whenever we are talking about the adsorption at constant temperature, it is called to be as adsorption isotherm. And here we can define it as variation of extent of adsorption with the pressure at constant temperature is called to be as adsorption isotherm. So we will be taking x upon m as extent of adsorption and p as pressure, and whenever we are plotting the graph between pressure and extent of adsorption at constant temperature, what will be the graph that here I am going to discuss. See, this is the graph in which we have extent of adsorption as xm, which is plotted against pressure. So here we are keeping temperature as constant. First we are taking temperature, that is 195 Kelvin, and here we are going to increase pressure. So what type of graph we found? Here it is seen that on increasing the pressure, because here we are talking about the gases which are going to adsorb over the adsorbent means solid surface. So because on increasing the pressure, the gas get converted into the liquid, means it can be liquefied, because here the molecules come closer to each other and it can be converted into the liquid form. That's why on increasing the pressure, the extent of adsorption is going on increases. At different temperature, we have found the same type of graph for the adsorption process. Again, we are taking temperature as 244 Kelvin and keeping it as constant without increasing or decreasing, and again we are going to increase the pressure. Then it is found that adsorption process is going on increases. So after that we come to the point that on increasing the pressure, the process of adsorption is going on increases by keeping the temperature constant. Okay, now here this adsorption isotherm is given by one scientist called to be as Freundlich. That's why this theory is called to be as Freundlich adsorption isotherm. He has given his theory in the year 1909. He have given the relation between the extent of adsorption and the pressure of the gas at constant temperature. So here the relationship is given in, like he had given this relation at different pressure. First he has taken the low pressure, then high pressure, and then intermediate pressure. See what happened here when he is taking the temperature pressure, different pressure. So at low pressure what happened, the graph is nearly straight line and sloping. This indicate that at these pressure, means what we found when we are keeping the pressure low pressure. You see in this graph, at low pressure what happened, first the graph is going on increases, means on keeping the pressure or slowly when we are going to increase the pressure, the extent of adsorption is going on increases. So it can be said that here the extent of adsorption is directly proportional to pressure, and it could be written like x is directly proportional to xm is directly proportional to p, or it can also be written as x upon m is equal to k p1. Okay, where k is the proportionality constant. Again, when he has taken high pressure, so what is found that after increasing the pressure or taking the maximum pressure, here it is found that, see, slowly as we are going to increase the pressure, after some time, after reaching certain height, the line is going on straightly. It means that here we have reached to the equilibrium. Equilibrium means what? Where the extent of adsorption or the process of desorption becomes equal. Here whatever the amount of substance is going to adsorb, same amount of substance is going to desorb. That's why it reaches to equilibrium and the line goes like straightly. Okay, so here it is found that on increasing the pressure at maximum, whenever we are giving the maximum pressure, here what happened, the line is going straightly, it means it reaches to equilibrium. And it is found that here the extent of adsorption is independent of pressure. Here the pressure is not going to affect the process of adsorption. That's why it could be written as, see, at high pressure, xm, that is called to be as extent of pressure, is directly proportional to P naught, where P naught is what? It is said that 0. This 0 says that it is extent of adsorption, it is independent of pressure. So this one can also be written as x upon m is equal to k P naught. Okay. Now, when we have taken the intermediate pressure, which is expressed as 1 upon n, here this one can be written as C, xm, that is extent of pressure, is directly proportional to P to the power 1 upon n, where 1 upon n is what? Here the range of this one is from 0.1 to 0.5. So whenever we are taking logarithm and on both the side, what happen here, we get log xm is equal to log k plus 1 upon n log p. And here we can also represent this one in the form of graph, that is, see here, log xm, that is extent of adsorption, against log p, and here we found a graph of slope like this one, that is 1 upon n. Okay, so this is the pressure that is called as intermediate pressure, which were explained by the scientist Freundlich, but he is unable to explain this graph on the basis of or at low pressure or at very high pressure. This is the limitation, or this is the most important drawback of Freundlich theory, Freundlich adsorption isotherm. So this could also be asked, which will be of 1 marks, that what is the limitation of Freundlich adsorption isotherm. So here the limitation of this one, that he is unable to explain the graph at low pressure and high pressure. He could explain only at intermediate pressure. Okay, after that we have effect of temperature and adsorption isobar. Here what do you mean by isobar, where we are keeping pressure as constant, and here we are going to increase or decrease the temperature. So here we know that because adsorption process is what? Adsorption process is an exothermic reaction. It means that whatever the substance is going to adsorb over the surface, some amount of energy is going to release, which is called to be as what? Enthalpy of adsorption. It means the reaction is exothermic. So on increasing the temperature, if the reaction is exothermic, it means the process of adsorption is going on decreases, isn't it? See, so whenever we are plotting the graph between the extent of adsorption against temperature by keeping the pressure constant, so for physical adsorption and for chemical adsorption we have different graph. Why? Because for physical adsorption we know that here we do not need any type of activation energy, and because the bond which is formed between the adsorbate and the adsorbent is very weak bond, that's why here on increasing the temperature, the extent of adsorption is going on decreases. See in the graph, it is easily seen that on increasing the temperature and by keeping the pressure constant, the extent of adsorption is going on decreases. But in case of chemisorption, what happened here? Here in case of chemisorption, because many type of chemical reactions are there which need some of activation energy. Activation energy is what? It needs some amount of energy to start up. That's why here we have to give some amount of energy. How? By increasing the temperature. So first in chemisorption, when we are going to increase the temperature, first the extent of adsorption is going on increases, but after some time it going on decreases in case of chemisorption. So for physisorption and chemisorption, for adsorption isobar we have different graph. For physisorption, here on increasing the temperature the graph is going on decreases, and adsorption is going on decreases, but in case of chemisorption first it increases and then it decreases. Okay students, these are all about the adsorption process. Now we have left with the application of adsorption. As I already told you, in this chapter we have discussed about three topics, that is adsorption, catalysis and colloids. Adsorption we have finished today, only we have left with the application. Then I am going to start what, that is catalysis. First go through the application of adsorption. First application of adsorption, that is gas mask. Gas mask is a device which consists of activated charcoal or mixture of adsorbent, that already we have discussed that charcoal, it has the ability to absorb whatever the pollutant and whatever the substance, gaseous material is present in the surrounding only over the surface without reaching inside. So this is helpful for making mask because it purify the air, and all the pollutant which is present in the air, it simply stick over the surface of the charcoal and we can get fresh air. Okay, control of humidity, this also we knows that silica and aluminum gel, it is helpful for absorption of what, moisture which is present. This also absorb the moisture over the surface only and keep the surrounding free from moisture. Next is what, removal of coloring material from solution. Here also we have taken one example, that sugar, actual color of sugar, because sugar is made up of what, sugar is made up of sugar cone, and here the actual color of this one is yellowish brown. But whenever we are passing this sugar through the animal charcoal, this charcoal is going to absorb whatever the color is present into the sugar and make it colorless. So these are various type of application, that is production of high vacuum. Here also, to keep any of the atmosphere, if we need any surface that is vacuum, all the means no gases should be present on that surface. So here that is called to be as vacuum. Here also we can use charcoal because it has the ability to absorb all the gases present. Chromatography process in curing disease, that we will discuss later. Adsorption indicator. So these are the various application of adsorption process. If you will be getting any doubt in these, then you can ask, because sometimes the question may also be asked from the application, 1 marks question may also be asked. So that's why you people have to know all the application and why does it happens. Okay, now we have another topic, that is called to be as catalysis. So catalysis means what do you mean by catalyst? We already know that catalyst is what, it is a foreign substance which is able to increase the rate of reaction. Okay, like here one example is given, that is decomposition of potassium chlorate to give dioxazine gas at high temperature in the range of 653 to 873. Here this one, see, in which we have added small amount of manganese dioxide. Okay, so this one is what, because here we are using this one, manganese dioxide, so it act as catalyst. Why? Because it do not involve in the reaction, it only increase the rate of reaction without undergoing involve, without undergoing making any type of bond with the substance or with the reactant. Okay, so that is called as catalyst. How can we define catalyst? Catalyst is the foreign substance which is responsible, which is able to increase the rate of reaction without being involved on that. Okay, that already we know about the catalyst. Here we have definition of catalyst, that we can define this one as the substance which alter the rate of a chemical reaction without undergoing any change in its chemical composition or mass during the reaction. Means whatever the amount of substance we have taken as a catalyst, same amount of substance we will get after the completion of the reaction. Not a single percentage of this one should be used in the reaction. Okay. Now there are two type of catalyst, that is called to be as positive and negative catalyst. What do you mean by positive catalyst? So positive catalyst, it is a substance which accelerates the rate of chemical reaction, is called positive catalyst. That here we can take example of V2O5, it increase the speed of oxidation. Here SO2 get converted into SO3. Here because the process is very slow, that's why there is need to use vanadium pentoxide. By the use of this vanadium pentoxide, the reaction becomes faster and the formation of SO3 get more speedily as compared to the earlier one. So because this one increase the rate of reaction, that's why it is called to be as positive catalyst. But there are many type of catalysts which decrease the rate of reaction, which is also called to be as inhibitor, and they are called to be as negative catalyst. For example, for the decomposition of H2O2 into H2O or O2, we know that H2O2, it is a type of compound which is very rare. Actually it is not favorable from the surrounding, that's why suddenly H2O2 dissociate, that is hydrogen peroxide dissociate into H2O plus O2. That's why if we need to store H2O2, then here we have to put some type of negative catalyst which do not allow it to decompose into H2O and O2. That is called as what? Which is called to be as negative catalyst. Here we have some negative catalyst, that is phosphoric acid and acid anilide. Now we have promoters and poisons. Here also we have the same thing as promoter and poison. Promoters are what? It is a substance which enhance the activity of catalyst when present along with them are called catalytic promoters. Like Haber's process, we know that Haber's process is what? It is the formation of ammonia with the help of what? By taking N2 and H2. On mixing this N2H2, we will get NH3. It is the most important process, and this process called to be as Haber's process. Here we are using molybdenum as a promoter which increase the rate of reaction, and iron which is used as catalyst. Okay. So the one which is used to increase or to accelerate the reaction more fastly, increase the activity, which is called to be as promoter, and poison means what? Which decrease the activity of the catalyst. Okay, like in many of the reaction we have used some type of catalyst, but this catalyst, whether they are going to increase the reaction or decrease the reaction, for that we are using either promoter or poison. If we will be using promoter, then this promoter allow or enable the catalyst to increase the rate of reaction. Like that, if we are using poison, so it make the catalyst to decrease the rate of reaction, which is called to be as poison. Okay, here we have the example which is given in the Rosenman reaction, that I will show you in the next class. I will explain these all thing more clearly, in that these all things will be clear to you people. Okay, for today we have this much only. After that, the rest of the portion we will discuss later. Thank you students for hearing me. Thank you so much.